Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Funny Shrink podcast. We are going to have a great show for you today. I can't wait. We have transgender sensation Sammie James, if you could see on the ticker tape below us. She is an amazing comedian. She has a weekly show called We Are Trans, and I've never been on it because I am not trans, but she is, and she's going to tell us all about it. And she also does a lot of work with the Pride Center at New Jersey, which she will tell you all about. So let's bring her on. Yes.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Welcome. We're very excited to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what got you into comedy?
Well, I always enjoyed watching comedy. Like, it was always something that I would watch from an early age, at least like 11. I would watch Comedy Central stuff late at night that I probably shouldn't be watching.
Mhm.
and it was always like, that would be something neat to try. And then I eventually did do one open mic, that was the plan. I'm like, I'm gonna try it once, and it bit me and never let go.
Don't you love when it gets you like that? It's awesome. What has your experience been with comedy?
It's been all right. It's been I've had honestly, I feel like I don't have some of the horror stories that other trans comedians have. I definitely have some, but for the most part, I've had an okay time. I definitely have some negative experiences, but I love stand up. I love stand up. I love comedy. I get upset with comedy. I want comedy to do better. No, I feel like I'm kind of stuck as a stand-up. I've tried to leave, believe me.
Really? That's weird. So why do you think you're stuck? Because from where I sit, you're doing great things.
No. What I'm saying is there's not. I'm kind of I feel like meaning I'm stuck being a stand-up. There's no leaving comedy for me. Is more what I'm saying. I have felt stagnant at other points in my career, but not currently. For obvious reasons, I feel a little trapped. Like all of us.
Exactly. So you're transgender and you go by she or they, and how has being transgender influenced your comedy?
I think, and I can say this. The first time I actually did stand up, so I've been doing stand up probably 8 years, but 10 years ago I did stand up for the first time. Kind of convinced that I was a cis dude. So I can tell you that me being trans has made me funnier than that person was. So I'm like,
why do you think that is?
I think the more yourself you can be on stage, the better. And I think if you're holding something back, there are people who have, their stage persona, but if you're really struggling with something and holding something back, I think that's going to affect what you're able to give people.
Right. I agree. I sucked when I pretended I didn't have a disability. People couldn't get it. They were like, no, there's something wrong with him. Doesn't he know? So you what I love about you is you're such a go-getter. Like you've had articles written about how you're doing stand-up in quarantine. You've had you produce weekly and monthly shows. You've really helped the people come together. What has been the hardest thing about translating the traumas of having being different, being ostracized into stand-up?
I mean, first off, I'm so tired. But yeah, like yeah, so I think part of it is, being able to make those things funny. There are some things that like I can make, awkward experiences. I have a PTSD joke. I don't do that often, that I love, but it really is, I think it's hard to know when you have a joke about something tough and when you're kind of um making it a little too real. I don't know if um yeah, that's kind of.
Frank, what do you think about that? I saw you smirk a little bit. What was that about?
A little too real. You know, you're thinking about, should I say this? Because they're going to be shocked. Oh well, who cares?
Mhm.
It's me. I mean, it's here I come. And by the way, Sammy, I did cruises for a long time. I got fired off 3 cruise lines, and I had one left, and I decided that I wasn't going to put any more emotional energy into trying to have great shows because I've been fired with great shows, fired with bad shows. There's usually a personality conflict with the cruise director, and
Mhm.
so I thought, I'm just going to go up and be myself and have a good time. And I swear my shows got 25% better.
Yeah.
And an audience member came up to me after everybody else had left the theater, and he goes, "Man, how do you get that comfortable up there?" And I looked around and I said, "Do you really want to know?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "That happened when I quit giving a shit." And I could
Yeah.
just be myself and not try to
Mhm.
push to have a great show.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, how I've that's definitely something that I've done in I mean, on stage I don't care. I'm talking more about my joke writing process
Oh, okay.
than on stage. Like on stage I am very and I've said this to people, like I think I was a little more prepared for our current stand-up situation than some other comedians because I was so used to there being silence at some point during my shows, and I'm just like, oh, I can do this.
No, I got the same comment about doing a Zoom show. Somebody says it's difficult to do a Zoom comedy show where you're not getting feedback. It's just silent. I go, look, I spent 2,629 nights on the road. Many a night and a horrible one-nighter, I was talking to furniture. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've done a full 45 to nothing. So,
Yeah.
doing a Zoom show for 10 minutes to nothing is just, piece of cake.
Yeah.
A full 45-minute set to one person is really just a conversation.
I've done that though.
I've had that. I've done shows at like midnight to two people, and I'll go down into the audience and just sit at one of the tables and start talking.
I think we've all done
I
that.
did an hour to 3 people once. I'm like, are you okay? Like, I'm like, listen. I don't want you to feel like you're trapped here.
Guys, you know this? I've got an acquaintance in San Diego who owns the Comedy Palace, and I hear tell they're having comedy shows, but they don't call them comedy shows. They call them political protests because apparently there's a loophole in the mandatory mask whatever rules that if it's a political rally or a political protest, you can get people together without social distancing. And so it's not a comedy club anymore. Every night it's a political protest. And it's the only thing in downtown San Diego apparently open and packing the place. So just to, if you're thinking about doing a live comedy show, just call it a, either a political rally or a political protest. And I think you can get away with it.
I don't know how I feel about that.
COVID. If you don't mind getting the COVID.
Mike, are you frozen?
I think he is. Well, at least the left side of him is. I'm not sure about the right. Yeah, I think he's frozen, Sammie.
Yeah.
So, Sammie, when did you realize you might be occupying the wrong, mortal coil? Were you very young when you thought to yourself, hey, something's up? I mean, is there a particular? Do you have a moment you remember that epiphany?
What is this? You cut out a little bit for me.
Oh no, when you realize that perhaps you began the thought process of perhaps changing gender or gender reassignment, or I mean, were you very young when you had thoughts like, hey, I think I'm maybe in the wrong body, or I just don't know enough about it to ask it in the proper fashion. I'm not sure how to ask the question, but do you see what I'm getting at? When did you have realization come to you that something's off, something I need to make a change or two?
Yeah, I mean, I had some idea that something was going on young, but I didn't really know a word for it. And by the time I did, it was like I felt like it was too late. But I came out about 23. So.
Oh wow.
You know what I realized, Sammie? I'm an idiot, and I totally forgot to mention that you have a physical disability.
Oh, I mean,
like the transgender thing just caught me by storm. So I was like, I guess being disabled, I don't really. I didn't see your disability.
Yeah. Should this have been up here too? They're not.
Well, and Mike, you got to know that Sammie said, "Is Mike frozen?" And I said, "Well, the left side is. I'm not sure about the right." So we had a joke at your expense while you were gone.
I got kicked off. Like I was connected to an Ethernet and it kicked me off anyway.
It's your StreamYard. How does that happen?
I don't know.
I mean, we've had people fall off shows that the host. I haven't as the host fall off before, but I'm sure it's possible.
I just did. I'm the host. I just did. I'm glad.
Yeah, I was under the impression that would just close the stream.
Yeah, that's
what I thought too. Thank God it didn't.
Yeah.
So, Sammie, could you maybe give Frank and I a tutorial offline?
I mean,
on transgender or on StreamYard?
I'm transgender-ish.
Yeah,
I mean,
sweet.
I don't have time for that.
It's like God made Google.
It's like, listen, you Google it. You can find all your answers there. I can point you in the right direction to books to read.
So for our listeners and viewers, Sammie, Mike has opened the door, said you have a disability. We know you have a handicap parking placard. So what what is your
I have a neuromuscular disorder that can kind of just makes me have involuntary muscle movements at this point. I've been misdiagnosed multiple times on my road to this, and like this time last year, I was walking with a cane. I had painful muscle cramps, and I was dealing with that for a couple years. Got the correct diagnosis for a movement disorder, and have since, I got the correct physical therapy for that, and I am caneless. I look a little weird when I walk sometimes. I kind of look like I need to go to the bathroom, but I can do it. And my legs kind of move on their own sometimes, but I'm I'm in a much better place than I was the past 3 years.
Okay.
That is resilience for sure.
But you kept the parking placard. Good boy.
Well, I mean, I still have something.
Yeah.
My Jeanette, my fiance, feels so guilty taking the placard when she's driving. I'm like, I'm with you. I don't want to walk more than I have to. Come on.
Yeah, and I run into that with friends all the time. They're like, "Are you okay?" Well, I'm like, "Listen, I'm the most in shape of us. You don't need to feel bad about this." But I mean, really, that's to deal with my illness. And I was already someone who I've been big on exercise most of my life, but with this, I basically need to stay in amazing shape to be able to walk. So I'm like, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I couldn't. I used to. My left wrist used to be like this. I used to have a gay wrist, and so I had 2 operations to straighten it out, and I could only start working out with that hand once those operations took place. Otherwise, I couldn't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, talk about resilience.
Well, we all have some of it, right?
Yeah.
That's what this podcast is about. Frank survived suicide.
Yeah, and a heart attack, and 2 aortic valve replacements, and a double bypass.
Takes a licking, keeps on ticking.
That's correct.
We should call you the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, or the Tin Man.
So Frankie, I'm sorry, Sammie, tell us. I'm so stupid. Sammie, tell us a little bit about your show.
Yeah, and so I know it's an icon for your show, but I keep looking at the icon in the corner and be like, is that on my wall? But yeah, so
do you like the piano?
I do like your piano.
It's not real.
Wait, is this not your home?
No, this is a backdrop.
I was like, wow, my beautiful home.
Yeah, his soon-to-be wife has money, Sammie. That's right.
I mean, this is my entire home. Like, no. Just this little room. This is where I live.
Do you live in New York or New Jersey? Where do you live?
I'm in Central Jersey.
Okay.
I ran into her when I was getting off at my stop, and just before I was leaving, we were on the train for the whole time. We didn't know it.
Yeah, we're was that Rahway?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's been so long that I'm like, oh yeah, trains. Running into people. Huh.
Modes of transportation.
Yeah,
so I'm sorry, ADD tell us about your show.
Yeah, so We Are Trans. It's every Sunday at 7 p.m. on our Facebook page. You can find it. Just look on Facebook. We Are Trans also has a Twitter, but it's a weekly variety show. It's trans performers of all mediums. They all have 15 minutes to do whatever. We've had poets, a lot of comedians, because that's who I know, musicians, burlesque, dramatic readings, clowns.
Who's a transgender clown? I want to know that.
Oh, I'm actually there are a few, but Ania Upstill they are amazing. I've done shows with them in the past. They're wonderful. And like, listen, you want recommendations for amazing trans performers who aren't me? Like, I got you.
Cool. That would be awesome. Frank and I have actually been kicking around an idea to do a Zoom show called Fluid and Funny. So I think that would be something we would love to have you on.
Yeah.
Sharon Simon posted in the stream, love Sammie James, 3 exclamation points. So, you know Sharon?
Me too. I love Sammie James too. Yeah, no, I know Sharon. She's done one of my podcasts.
She's amazing. She's actually marrying me in October.
Oh,
so,
congrats!
Thank you, thank you.
She's doing the ceremony, Sammie. Just to clear that up, she's not
Yeah,
actually married.
Yeah. You know, I was like, I'm like, I kind of figured that. I'm like, no, I've met your wife. I've met both of them. I'm like, oh.
Right. Thank you for clearing that up, Frank. She's doing the ceremony.
Yeah, because I was like, really? I've met both of them. I'm like,
yeah, where's Jeanette?
Wow, I'm not as good with faces as I thought.
Yeah. Oh, so
Mike's marrying Jeanette, I think.
Yeah, I'm marrying Jeanette.
Yeah, it's part of a plea bargain, Sammy.
I got the joke. That's all that matters. I'm laughing on the inside, Mr. King. Oh, I think we should start referring to you as Mr. King.
I think so. Straight, white.
Johannes. That's maybe not now that you pointed that out. So
it's difficult to be a 6 foot tall, brown haired, straight, white comic. I mean, it's it's a delicate, delicate dance because it's
much harder than being trans and disabled. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. No, I don't mean white privilege. Well, I mean in terms of comedy. There's a million of us. You guys ever see Crashing with what's the guy's name? Big tall guy.
Pete Holmes.
Yeah. I can just see the club owners telling him, you're just another 6 foot tall, brown-haired white guy. Why are you up there? What do you? Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I understand being born, white, Episcopal, in middle class. I was born on at least second base, maybe third, so I'm not complaining.
Good to know.
Yeah, and the silence came up like thunder. All I got going for me is I'm mentally ill, which is it makes me at least interesting.
That's why I want to be your friend. Seriously. So Sammie, why don't you tell people where they could find you?
So I'm on I'm on all social media. I'm Twitter and Instagram, at Sammie Sam James, Facebook, Sammie James. That's I guess that's the social media I do.
There you go.
Well, I have 3 podcasts you can listen to.
Good Lord.
Sweet. What are they?
Yeah, so I have All of My Friends Are Animals, where I talk about animals. I have a different comedian on every episode. We've been on hiatus for a while. I just haven't had the energy to record new episodes. I have like 3 ready to go, but I'm not going to release those till I have enough so that I don't need to record for a while. but that's on Stitcher and most of the other podcast listening places.
I love the title of it. All my
Oh
friends
yeah, and that is very much me. Like that is I have so much material about all of the things I talk to, and a lot of it is about conversations I've had with animals, and it kind of that's where the title came from. But
do they talk back, Sammie?
I mean, I talk back as them, which I think is actually a little more worrying.
Sammie, we have 3 dogs, rescue German Shepherds, and 10 rescue cats. So if you need a comic guest who's pet-centered.
Huh? Yep, I have a rescue foxhound myself.
Boy.
Oh. So what are the other 2?
Yeah, so We Are Trans podcast, same name as the variety show. Kind of branching off that, kind of trying to brand that a little bit. It's I believe 16 episodes of that first season are me just having a conversation with another trans person every week, because in conversations that aren't necessarily about being trans, it's, conversations that trans people don't often get to have like in the media. It's just me and my trans friend talking about movies, talking depending on who I'm talking to. I've had movie producers, a trans lawyer, mostly trans comedians and actors, because that's who I know.
Who has been one of your favorite guests?
Oh, see, that's tough, but I mean, big 3 that are jumping out to me are Puyam Hosseini, who's an Iranian trans woman, activist and actor. She was the season finale of this first season. Celeste Argentino Fiore, non-binary lawyer, out of I forget where exactly in New Jersey, but they're in Jersey. And one of my best friends, Ruba Drosian, wonderful non-binary singer-songwriter.
Cool.
And let's see, so many people. I'm blanking, but and Aya Perez is another wonderful trans singer-songwriter who's been on that. Those are 4 that jump out to me. Aya is also a co-producer of the We Are Trans variety show.
Nice.
Is there an agency?
Sorry. Go ahead, Frank. I'm sorry.
Yes, is there a talent agency that specifically handles trans?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. They haven't reached out to me.
I don't know why. You're a powerhouse.
Yeah, you know a lot of people. Maybe start an agency, to book them in, book trans into commercials. Episodic television, motion pictures.
Yeah. That's a great idea, actually. What's your last podcast?
Yeah, so that is Boo Ha Ha, which is I've talked to comedians about horror movies.
Oh, cute!
I love the title.
Yep.
I have the worst laugh. That's so cool.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, animals and horror movies. They're my They're my 2 favorite things. So why not have podcasts about them?
You should do a horror movie with animals.
Oh, there are plenty of them.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me started talking about horror movies if you ever plan on ending this.
Sammie, here's my favorite: Night of the Lepus.
Oh, I know this movie. That's an Easter tradition.
Yeah. Mike is giant rabbits.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Campy. Oh my lord.
yeah. Maybe the second most traumatic movie about rabbits after that cartoon of Watership Down.
Yeah.
There was one other question I had for you, Sammie.
Okay.
What you wanted to talk about the your work with the Pride Institute of New
Oh yeah.
Jersey, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Sure.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I am the group trustee groups coordinator for the Pride Center of New Jersey, which is a nonprofit organization located in Highland Park, New Jersey, which caters to the LGBT community. I'm basically the person in charge of the support and social groups that happen there, and have currently since March been happening over Zoom and other remote options. They have support groups for coming out for all identities. There's a women and non-binary people of color support group called Intersection. There's multiple trans groups, people coming out as gay, lesbian, trans, bi. We had mental health support, which not to take your thunder away from you, Frank. Also, so, but yeah, we've had recovery meetings there. We've had comedy shows happen there, which Mike has
I've done
performed
that.
on.
Fun times.
Yeah, and we have just reopened to very limited capacity back on August 3rd. Not much is happening there currently, but these groups have the option of being there, and I've had a few very interested and very important groups reach out to me about meeting either there or over Zoom, and you can find the Zoom links. I believe if you go on the Pride Center's website, you can find either the Zoom links or emails to the facilitators of each group who can provide you with Zoom links for these meetings.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for telling us about that. I can't wait to get back there. I love performing for the community there. It's been awesome. So Sammie, thank you so much for stopping by. We really enjoyed having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody, and we hope to see you next time. Check back in weekly. We do about 1 to 2 episodes a week. We'd love to hear from you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Thanks, Sammie.
Thanks.